This episode's going to be a little different. In this episode, we're going to focus on something a little bit more practical that isn't quite so philosophical or psychological or spiritual or airy-fairy, not just ideas or probing after truth or wisdom or any of those sorts of things. We're going to do an exercise. And simply put, this is a simple manifestation exercise. And it's been my experience that this can be applied to anything that we're trying to manifest, from the big to the small, to the immediate to the long term. We can apply this to anything that we're trying to create. And what's also different about this episode is this is going to be a two-parter. So in order to have this be of maximum value and use, this part one is going to be the exercise itself. And then part two, which will be immediately after this in the feed, will be the explanation and kind of going into a little bit more detail about why this exercise is structured the way it is and how the different pieces of it not only seem to work, but seem to work together. So this part one is meant to be kind of a standalone of if this is something that is useful or you find value in, you can listen to over and over, and you won't have to have the description and too much commentary or explaining getting in the way. So without further ado, I'm going to get to the exercise, which is just a simple manifestation exercise. All right, to start off, probably obvious, but with any manifestation exercise, it's important to start off with an intent, with something you want to create, something you want to have happen, something you want to experience, whatever it is. Again, this can be applied for anything big or small. The only word of caution, and maybe caution is too strong of a word, the area of awareness that I've used is not trying to apply this exercise to things that I don't really feel that good about. That if I'm trying to manifest something where I get a little squirrely on the inside, where I kind of feel a bit of a screw turning, especially in my solar plexus midsection area, well, that might be a little too big, a little too inaccessible. I'm not really aligned enough with that yet, and might need to work on that discomfort a bit. But whatever it is, whatever intent we choose, trust that whatever comes to mind is the right thing. So just kind of probe around for a second and what feels like the right thing to focus on right now. It might not be the biggest issue you're facing. It might not be the most important. But just kind of spend a second and feel what feels first in line, what feels next, what feels appropriate and right to address right now. And then choose that intention. And then once you have that intention, this is going to be a 3-step process. So the 3 steps or phases that this exercise is going to go through is first a phase of centering, next a phase of envisioning, and lastly a phase of releasing. So for our centering phase, what we want to do is just get quiet, get in a place where we're comfortable. And for different people, this will mean different things. I've done this exercise both sitting quietly. I've done this exercise walking. Whatever feels the most natural to you. If a sense of movement helps ground you, helps you connect with what you're doing, then doing this as kind of a walking meditation works really well. If you feel more inspired and more inclined to sit or even lie down, that's fine too. But in the centering process, what we want to do is just focus in on something very simple. We want to focus in on just being. And the mantra that I like to use for this is, I am. That I get comfortable, I get myself in a comfortable situation where I can focus on what I'm doing and just repeat, I am. I am. And I do this not to repeat the words. The words of the mantra is always in service of a feeling. It's the feeling that matters. And I use the words as an anchor, as an entry point, as a way to access feeling a certain way. And in the centering process, what I want to feel is just my own being. I want to remove any condition from I am. Not I am this, I am that. Not rushing ahead to I want to be this, I don't want to be that. Just I am. Just focus on my own being and feel my own being. That's it. Center myself in my own being, on my own awareness of my being. I am. I am. And stay with this. Don't jump out of it. Stay in the present moment. Just focus on being. I am. We've all heard the phrase, let it be. We'll extend the same grace to ourselves. Allow ourselves to just be. I am. I am. I am. Just focus on our own being. Center ourselves in this present moment right now on just the fact that we exist, on just our own being, with a focus on I am. And run this for as long as it feels like it takes us to be centered, takes our system to calm down, where we can let go of our needs to be any certain way, our needs to get anything done, our own judgments, our own criticisms, our own recriminations against ourselves. However long it takes to focus on just being is how long we do this first part. And when we feel like we've completed that, we move on to the second part, which is envisioning. So now we want to actually complete that sentence, that I am. I am what? And again, we're looking for a good set of words. We're looking for the ideal set of words, not because the words themselves matter. We're looking for the words that align with and bring up the feeling that we want, that resonate with how we want to feel. And we can use our feeling to feel around for this ideal set of words. And the way that I like to approach this is I look for a set of words that I would say to myself upon reflection of having achieved what I want to achieve, and kind of a moment of awareness of realizing that I've gotten what I wanted. I've achieved what I wanted. I'm living what I wanted. So it's kind of in the format of I am blank. I really am. This is really happening. This is really real. So whatever phrase that is that captures that sense of wonder in terms of I am. I am what? I am successful. I am wildly successful. I am healthy. I'm the healthiest I've ever been. I'm happy. I am happier than I've ever been. Whatever that I am statement that really captures how you want to feel and goes all the way, isn't close, isn't partial, like really is a bullseye to the full extent of how you want to feel. What not only feels the best, but feels the most, has the most power to it, brings up the strongest, most positive feelings within you. That's it. And as you're doing this exercise, you can feel around. You can start with one phrase, but if something else comes up, you can move over to that. It just doesn't have to be a militant. Once you've decided on a mantra, it's the only thing you can ever say ever again. Allow yourself to feel it. And if something isn't quite feeling as good as you want, well, move to something else. Try out something different. Because when you hit the right one, you'll know it. And sometimes you'll be on the right one, and then a better one will come along. And when that happens, move over to that. But I like to keep it phrased in terms of I am, and just completing that sentence with whatever feels the strongest, feels the best, fills me up the most, energizes me the most. And then when I'm repeating this, I allow whatever visions come up, whatever ideas come up, whatever resonates, whatever this brings along with it, I just let these movies play in my head. And sometimes these ideas aren't that visual, so if they're not, I just let the feelings come up. I just keep stoking it, just feeling better and better as I repeat my I am mantra over and over again. Because again, it's the feeling we're after. It's the feeling we want. It's the feeling that matters. And just keep repeating this. Keep feeling it. And if the feeling isn't exactly right, or it's not quite that bullseye yet, keep feeling around. Keep trying different options. Because when you've hit the right one, you'll know it. When you hit that bullseye, it will be obvious. And just keep repeating that. Let the ideas come up. Let the visions play in your mind. Let the feelings grow and build and ascend. A lot of times this feels like this is ascending from the core of my being and just rising up. And just stoke these feelings as much as you can. And continue doing this for as long as you want, as long as it feels natural. You'll know when it's time to move on. But in the meantime, just keep going, keep stoking, keep building, keep nurturing, keep growing these feelings that you would feel upon the attainment of your intent, upon the accomplishment and the living of your desire. And see yourself in your vision. See yourself living out the fulfillment of what you want. See if you can see it through your own eyes, not like you're watching a movie of yourself from far away. See if you can actually get in it, look around, see what you would see. These envisioning exercises get a lot more powerful when we do them first person, when we're not just looking at ourselves like a camera in the sky, but we're actually living it. We're actually looking through our own eyes. And one of the most obvious ways we can know this is we can't actually see ourselves. We see the scene. We see what's happening. Our vision is what we would see if we're actually living it. And if our intent is really specific, really focused, see ourselves living that. If it's more of a general idea or a general feeling, entertain as many options as we want that would feel that way, that would be that way if this were true. Let the movie play in our minds of our ideal, of what we hold ideal, coming real, all while repeating, I am. I am this, I am that. Fill that in however we want, whatever feels the best. And then after a time, once we finish that, we can move on to the final phase, which is releasing. And so with all these good feelings stirred up, now we can focus on all of the things that have been obstacles to us in the past, to feeling this way, all of the things that have stood in our way, all of the things that we're afraid will stand in our way. And we can pack all of those things inside of a bubble. It sounds funny. It's a bit of a weird imagery, but it's been my experience that this really works. That there's been people standing in our way, there's been limitations standing in our way, there's been circumstance, whatever it is, just put all of that into the bubble. But don't forget the areas where you've stood in your own way, your own fear, your own reticence, your own reluctance, your own obsession, your own gripping, your own resistance to living whatever you want to live. All the ways you feel perhaps you've gotten in your own way, or perhaps you might get in your own way in the future. Anything that feels like resistance, anything that feels like an obstacle. And again, this could be your own attachment, your own desperation, your own needing. Whatever it is, put it all in the bubble. Everything that comes up of what's standing in the way, what are the obstacles of living the manifestation that you want to experience, load them all into the bubble. And when you feel like you've finished, release the bubble. Let it float away. Watch it rise and float away from you. Feel a sense of goodbye. Wish it well. Know that even if these things were negative for you, they may be positive for someone else. None of these things are inherently bad. So you can release them in peace. You can release them in joy and just watch them float away, looking out over the horizon. A lot of times when I visualize this, I see hills in the distance, and I just watch this bubble float towards the hills and up and over them and past them. Just feel it all float away. And when it's gone out of the horizon, or it feels like it's far away, now focus inside of yourself. Feel the empty space where all of that resistance was. Feel all the space that's been cleared out from releasing the negativity, the fear, the obsession, the gripping, the attachment, the desperation. All of the areas where all of those obstacles had been resident within you. Feel all the open space now. Feel all the space that's been cleared. And now, with the feelings that you were feeling about the attainment of your intent, all of that positivity, all of that joy, all of that fulfillment, let that feeling take up that space. Let those positive feelings fill you up. Feel yourself inflate from the inside. If a visual is helpful, I kind of imagine a sort of glowing golden liquid that's warm and comfortable and nourishing, filling me up and filling up all of these spaces that have cleared all of this resistance within myself. And now all of the space that resistance was taken up is now being filled by these feelings, by the way I want to feel, by this warm golden glow. And I do this until I feel whole, until I feel saturated by it, until I feel completely filled through this warm golden glow, through these positive feelings that I want to feel, this way that I want to feel through the experience of my manifestation becoming real, through the lived experience of that fulfillment. And then I can breathe into these spaces. I can breathe in and feel myself full of joy, full of happiness, full of peace, full of contentment, full of fulfillment. And you can linger in this feeling as long as you wish. If you want to revisit any of the steps, you can do so. Each one has value. And if anyone feels incomplete, you can revisit it. But as an exercise, this is complete. And you can repeat this exercise as much as you want. But again, another little word of caution. Don't feel like this is akin to physical work. Don't feel like if you do this enough times, you'll get what you want. I don't actually believe there's an inherent difference between doing this once and doing this 1,000 times. In fact, if we're doing something over and over and over again, especially if we're doing it in kind of a maniacal or a bit of a frantic way, that's usually an indication that we're still holding on. We've got a little bit more resistance and attachment and desperation that we need to load into that bubble. But I like to do this exercise just as long as it feels good, and do it really for no other reason. Because trying to do things in order to get things, that can lead to a lot of crossed wires. Yes, this is a manifestation exercise, but we also have to understand manifestation is a co-creative process. And it's far easier for us to get in our own way than to make things happen. And so in my experience, this exercise is best done with a sense of non-attachment, of release. Do it because it feels good, not because it's going to instantly make anything happen. Not because we're earning some sort of spiritual credit that we'll eventually be able to cash in for the things we want. I don't think it works that way. But there is still use in doing these exercises as long as we can let them go. As long as that bubble floating away is complete. And we do something for the joy of doing it, not because of what we're going to get. Which sounds like a bit of a paradox. Why would we do a manifestation exercise if we weren't trying to get anything? Well, because I think life just kind of works that way. Life is a mixture of letting go, of surrender, and intention. And we can practice both with this exercise. We can set an intent. We can get really clear in how we want to feel. We can feel that way. We can let go of everything that stands in the way and just go on with our life. Do it once, do it 1,000 times. Whatever we feel like, whatever we want, whatever feels good. And just keep going. And that's it. And that's the exercise. I hope it works for you. And please try. Please try it out. See if it works for you or not. Because that's all that really matters. This has been effective for me. This has been enjoyable for me. But what matters is what's effective and enjoyable for you. And the only way you'll know is to try. So I encourage you, try. Try and see what happens. See how you feel. See how it makes things different. See if it's useful. Because that's all we can ever do. And genuinely, truly, I hope this is useful for you. I hope you enjoyed this episode. All episodes are given freely. If you feel inspired to give, please visit theunionpath.com/donate. If you have a question, you can contact me at theunionpath@gmail.com. Take care and all the best.